Yes, now, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Thomas Rants YouTube channel. Let's talk the Royal Rumble. I was very excited for this Royal Rumble. The match card, the fact that it was in Saudi, so it was ahead of us in time, so I got to watch it at 7 o'clock at night, like the perfect time. Yeah, I was very excited for it, and we all knew it was going to kick off with the Women's Rumble. It's the only women's match on the card. They're trying to limit how many women's matches they can have in Saudi because of Saudi's rules. Is what it is. We all knew they were going to come out in their full bodysuits, Power Ranger suits, whatever you want to call them. What I did not expect is the Royal Rumble to actually, well, the Women's Royal Rumble to actually be probably the best match of the night. I mean, wow, what? From start to finish, I mean, we started with Charlotte Flair and Alexa Bliss. When Charlotte Flair came out at number one, immediately thought that was good. It eliminates the fact that she might win it, and it allows people to enjoy Charlotte Flair for her greatness and not the fact that she always wins. And originally, when Charlotte Flair came out, I thought number two might be Becky Lynch, because that would what a throwback that would be. I mean, you talk about like biggest rivalries of all time, like Becky Lynch is the Undertaker to Charlotte Flair's Shawn Michaels. Becky Lynch is the Edge to Charlotte Flair's John Cena, or the Randy Orton to Charlotte Flair's John Cena. It is what it is. But it actually wasn't. It was Alexa Bliss, and now it all makes sense. All that competitiveness that I had. It's like Alexa knew she was number two the whole time, and Alexa had a smile on her face. Charlotte wasn't happy, so we're like, what's going to happen here? And eventually they end up just like, being friendly, waiting for the next entrant. We had Kiana James come out, and I'm not going to remember all the entrances. Very good match. Lots of good spots, some NXT call-ups, Sol Ruka, Lola Vice, Kalani Jordan, JC Jane. I kind of felt like Kalani Jordan was a bit unnecessary. Maybe you could argue Lola Vice, but I think she's a bit more popular. Especially because in this Rumble, and now I'm not saying we need these things, but I was kind of expecting AJ Lee to be there, but she wasn't. I'm not going to complain. It's not the end of the world for me. But I'm quite surprised at the fact Bianca Belair's not back. I know a lot of people wanted Bianca Belair in this and wanted her to win it. I didn't really want her to win it, but I just wanted her to return, because if I'm not mistaken, right, now obviously we all know she's not wrestled since WrestleMania. That was her last match, right, and she got injured. But if I'm correct, was the injury not a broken finger or a broken hand? How long do you need to be out for that? Because it's been 9 months. Over now. Like, it's been nearly 10 months for a broken finger or a broken hand. There's got to be some other injury we're talking about here. Or childbirth or something. Because why has Bianca Belair been gone for so long? I really thought she'd be back in this Rumble, and she wasn't. We got Tiffany Stratton back, though. That was good. Yeah, I mean, pretty much every woman got their shine in this Rumble. I mean, Lyra Valkyria, Bayley, Asuka, Kairi. When Lyra enters, I kind of thought maybe Lyra might have a strong case to win this, but she didn't. Lash Legend was probably the MVP of that match. She eliminated a shit ton of people, like Becky Lynch herself. No, that was Natalia, actually. Never mind. She eliminated Charlotte Flair, though, and she eliminated someone else. Rhea Ripley and Raquel. Raquel eliminated Rhea. That was mental. Natalia's gone by Natty, and she threw out Becky Lynch. The problem with this whole card, yes, they are massively star-studded Rumbles, but like major stars and major players were getting thrown out like it's nothing. And I'm not saying that, because they're major players, they need to win all the time. But hasn't that always been how Rumbles go? Like, we're not protecting them one bit. The way certain people like Becky just got launched over the top rope was mental. Like, okay. And then the final three came down to Tiffany Stratton, Sol Ruka, and Liv Morgan. And at this point, it was pretty clear who was going to win. But Tiffany Stratton still had a strong case, I'll be real. Appreciate them for giving Sol Ruka such a spotlight. And this was probably one of the best ending sequences to a Royal Rumble ever. Some of the moves they were pulling off, all three of them going flying over the rope and they all hanging on. And then they're all fighting on the apron. And the fact that Sol Ruka tripped, nearly fell off and still held herself up was insane. Yeah, and then Liv hitting the Oblivion off the ring apron wasn't the cleanest thing, because I don't know how the physics of that would actually work. It kind of seemed like a over-dramatized ending, like over-dramatized, like just that singular move. But apart from that, very good. And Liv was the deserved winner, and that's who I picked in my predictions. So that made me want to know in predictions. The next match was Gunther versus AJ Styles. I predicted that WWE was trying to play us, and it was all a facade, you know, this whole final match with Shinsuke Nakamura, trying to get that last shot at the world title against CM Punk, everyone believing AJ's going to leave, everything was a setup, because it didn't make sense for AJ to say, I'm going to retire in 2026, and then retire at the first event of 2026. And yes, Gunther's got the gimmick of retiring everyone, and just because he wasn't able to retire AJ today, doesn't mean he can't do it further down the line. Boy, was I wrong. Gunther just retired AJ Styles. And if WWE's goal is to make Gunther the most hated WWE superstar, they are achieving that goal. I will give them that. Now, I don't hate Gunther for this, right? I don't. In fact, I think it's better for Gunther. It, like, puts him on a certain pedestal, right? Because now he's retired Goldberg, he's retired John Cena, and he's retired AJ Styles. Officially. He's retired all three of them, right? And they might stop it there, and that's fine, because maybe if he goes on and retires people like Ray, Punk, Truth, Lesnar, Orton, it might be a bit overdramatic, but so far it's a good story and it's a good accolade to have on it. And not only am I surprised, I'm a bit disappointed, because I genuinely had my hopes up that AJ wasn't going to retire, and to think now that he is officially retired just blows my mind, because there's plenty of other people who are older, of similar age, just slightly younger, who are in worse physical conditions than AJ Styles. So to look at AJ and go, he's retired now, just blows my mind. And yes, he did want to retire before he was past that point of over the hill. He wanted to retire at his best, so no one ever seen him decline, which I can respect. But at the same time, I did not expect this. And I'm kind of heartbroken. Not just because I got a prediction wrong, but because, like, when I first became a fan of WWE, which was around 2016, 2017, I kind of put a time on it because I was young. But, like, AJ was in the WWE title circulation, and I remember when Jinder Mahal was a champion, and I hated him being the champion, and he was champion for so long. AJ came along and took that belt, and then had, like, a great run with it. So, it's a shame to see him go, and a lot of people think he's not done. A lot of people think he's going to go to TNA, or New Japan, or AEW, and end his career there. And while that's cool, I don't like the fact of, oh, I'm retiring, but I'm not actually retiring. So if this was his last match, I'm cool with it. I'm not, because I didn't want him to retire, but I'd rather he retire now than go back to TNA and any of that. Not just, I mean, yes, it's pure selfishness as a WWE fan, because then I'd have to go over to TNA or someone else to go watch his other matches if I wanted to. But it's also, I don't want it ruining the story of, like, oh, I'll retire, but I technically won't retire. I'm just leaving WWE. Do you know what I mean? But yeah, it is what it is. It's very sad. And you can tell AJ did not want to retire, man. Well, obviously he did, but like, it was his choice. But at the same time, man, I've never had such an underwhelming retirement, not because of the performance, but just because of the expectations. Like, I genuinely did not think he was going to retire. Like, with John Cena, we knew he was retiring. With Ric Flair, we knew he was retiring. I genuinely thought AJ was gonna win this match. Just such a shame. It is what it is. And then the next match, Drew McIntyre, Sami Zayn, probably the easiest match to predict throughout the night, which is saying something, because even then I was on the edge of my seat, because it's Saudi. Sami's just won in Montreal. He's got this big storyline, and he's in Saudi, and I'm just like, I'm really scared they're going to take that title off of Drew. A lot of people are saying there's no potential for Drew Mania, and Sami's got more match potential, because Sami Cody, Sami Randy, Sami Punk all make sense. You know, all these sort of, Sami Roman even makes sense. And I just, like, I love the fact that Drew's champion. I'm not thinking about WrestleMania. I'm just thinking about Drew as champion. And I want it to remain that way. So I predicted he was going to win, because it was way too short to take it off Drew McIntyre without being disrespectful. And it needed to happen. And it did. Drew McIntyre is still your WWE champion. I love that. I love that from them. So thank you, WWE. And then we move on to the Men's Royal Rumble. Now, I genuinely, I don't know how to feel about this, because it is very hit and miss in some ways. And maybe I've just not fully processed it. Maybe I need to go back and watch it. Because at certain times it was like, this is fucking cool. But at certain times it was like, what the fuck did we just watch? Typical, like, it gives the vibes of 2022 Rumble. It gives the vibes of, like, the Best in the World tournament. Like, something that is so hyped and has a lot of expectation, and then just falls really flat. Or WWE has, like, we all have one idea, and WWE just has a completely separate idea and goes in the wrong direction. Now, one thing I will disagree with, and I am not going to jump on this bandwagon of hating on Triple H, because not all the creative decisions in WWE are made by Triple H himself. They're made by a big group of people, a big team in WWE. Triple H is just at the forefront. He is the man in charge. He's the face of it all, right? He kind of just gives the nod to ideas, I suppose, and chips in, right? Like everyone else. I'm not going to jump on the Triple H hating bandwagon, so I really don't want to say this, but the fact that Triple H went on that post show and said, this might be my favourite Royal Rumble of all time, I mean, what the fuck are we talking about? Genuinely, like, what are we talking about? Like, I mean, entrant number 1, right? We all knew it was Braun Breaker on SmackDown because they leaked the graphics. So WWE goes, okay, we'll just swap it around. So then, like, what are you hiding? Like, we don't care. We want Braun Breaker to be number 1. So it was Obafemi at number 2. So they've just swapped it around. So it was Oba number 1 and Braun Breaker at number 2. It is what it is. He has me on the pre-show, watching that little clip on the pre-show, Paul Heyman going up to Adam Pearce like, oh, you had to put him in at 2, you had to put him in at 2. We've already seen Braun was number 1, so who's number 2? It could have been another member of the division. He has me thinking Adam Pearce has allowed them all to be in the Rumble and then made them all the first 4 entrances, so then they'd have to fight each other. I mean, to me, that is fucking genius. That would have been 10 times better. That would have been 10 times better, but that's not what happened. It's not what happened. But I wasn't too mad at Oba coming in at number 1 either, because it's like, in my eyes, Oba was just going to last the rest of this Rumble. Like, maybe the final 2. And then Braun didn't even make it in the ring, right? Because this is going to be a battle, yeah? Braun didn't even make it in the ring, and he's getting attacked by a man in a hoodie. He's getting thrown down the steps. He gets hit with a curb something. I'd like to think it was Seth or someone cool. Of course, they never did the masked reveal on the actual show, you know, and make it a good story. No. You have to tune into the next episode of Raw to find out. And a lot of people think it's Austin Theory or Logan Paul because of the way they are standing and like their posture, and it would make a whole lot of sense. It does look like them. The man had a dark beard, I'm pretty sure. It's a bearded man. I thought it could be Finn Balor, but Finn has hand tattoos, so it ain't Finn Balor. There's an argument for John Moxley. Not happening though. Yeah. I'm really confused who it might be. And if it is Austin and Logan, I suppose there's a good storyline there for the division, but I just think it's too early. I don't know how I feel about that truly. So yeah. And then Braun was eliminated instantly. We had a couple entrances here and there. Javon Evans came in, so at one moment we had Javon, Oba and Trick in the ring, and that was just amazing because, like, you talk about last year, Stand and Deliver, them 3 were main eventing for NXT, and now they're all in the Rumble. That was a pretty cool moment. Lots of big names. I mean, we had the El Grande Americano moment where we have the new El Grande Americano and the old El Grande Americano, and I genuinely thought one of them was going to get unmasked. Neither of them got unmasked. Does this mean Chad Gable's back in the company, or was that just someone under the mask? Because that person was very tanned and had a dark beard. 2 things Chad Gable was not, you know, like Chad Gable was tanned, but like this was very tan. And did Chad Gable have that beard? Obviously not, but he might have grown it, but we don't know if it is actually him. So who knows? We had a couple surprise entrances, a couple from AAA. We had Mr. Iguana, we had La Parca. Kind of felt like they were wasted entrances, just kind of like trying to get AAA involved in their partnership. Because there was a lot of people missing from this Rumble that probably could have been in it, to be honest with you. To think we've not allowed Finn Balor in the Rumble because we wanted La Parca or Mr. Iguana or even Rey Fenix. Like, I'm not being funny, Rey Fenix lasted, 2 seconds? Jumped in there, got caught by Lesnar and then F5'd. And we had Brock Lesnar come in and we had this amazing moment with Obafemi, and it was like, this is what we've been waiting for. We've been waiting for this standoff in this Rumble, and we can set this match up for Mania. And they spent the whole time staring at each other, and then Brock ducked him a couple times, then he hit a German on him, and then eliminated Obafemi in the middle of an entrance. And it was just like such an anticlimactic entrance. I thought Oba was going to stay in there and dominate, and there was none of that. And LA Knight obviously came back, Cody Rhodes was in there, and they each helped eliminate the Vision. And then while Jey Uso was entering the match, what happens? Literally mid-entrance, LA Knight and Cody Rhodes casually just double clothesline Brock Lesnar over the ropes. Brock Lesnar's just eliminated like that. Like, fuck me. I know he's not your main guy anymore. And he's not exactly prime Brock Lesnar anymore. But, like, you still gotta respect and protect the story, the character. There's zero thought went into this Rumble, in my opinion. It's like, get this name, get this name, get this name, get this name, get them in the ring, any random order, and then make sure this guy wins. And they've just, it's like they told the guys, go out there and just do your thing. Because why is Brock getting eliminated like that? Why is Oba getting eliminated like that? What is the logical sense? Like, it genuinely frustrates me. Because, like, this was such a hyped Rumble. And there was so much potential, especially with the names in there, so much potential for cool sequences, cool moments, and either built onto storylines or starting storylines. And we've just not executed on nothing. You've just had the people in the Rumble, had them eliminate, and had the guy you wanted to win. Which was Roman Reigns, which I predicted. And it's such a shame because we said Roman needs his Rumble win. Well, a lot of people said Roman needs his Rumble win to redeem his last Rumble win when in Philadelphia, when he was so hated and the Rumble was so bad. And even The Rock coming to help out couldn't save that Rumble. And this hasn't redeemed shit because this was potentially just as bad as 2022. I'm not going to go as far as say worse, but this is a bad Rumble. This is a bad Rumble. Roman's never going to win a good Rumble. And yes, Saudi crowds were good here and there, but for certain moments, like, I just feel like there's certain moments you need to go back to your original crowd. Anywhere else, like, Saudi was good. Like, don't get me wrong, they were good at popping for people. But when people got eliminated or people won, there was no pop. It was like they were just there for the entrances, and that's what this was 90% entrances. Like, there was no... I know that they changed it from 2 minutes to a minute and a half, which is ridiculous anyway. What was wrong with the original one? If it's done broke, don't fix it. Right? If it ain't broke, don't fix it. Whatever. But it's like, entrance music would hit, someone would get the ring. The second they reach the ring, they'd look at someone, and then a timer would hit again. It's just like... what? Right? There's no actual wrestling going on. It's just 30 people entering a ring and 29 exiting. That's what it felt like. And then the final four... you got Logan Paul in there. When the Vision have all been and gone, Logan wasn't even the last member of the Vision in there, I don't think. Or maybe he was, but he wasn't even in the 20s when he got in there. And Bronson and Austin got eliminated long ago, so why is Logan in there? Why do you need Logan Paul in the final four? Yes, he's a YouTuber that might potentially bring eyes to your company, but he's been there so long, people are used to it now. And he's not even exactly in the main event scene. I mean, he is, but he's not, but he's in a faction. So it's like, he slots in now, as normally doesn't stand out as a celebrity anymore. Why is he in the final four again? It makes no sense. Apart from that, the other final four people were good. Randy, Gunther, and Roman. Makes a lot of sense. Randy got eliminated, and it was down to Gunther and Roman, and obviously Roman's going to win. And to be honest, it was at that moment I realised we haven't really seen this match before, and maybe we should at some point. Gunther hit a bunch of sleepers on Roman, make them all fall asleep in the Rumble, and then Reigns struck them out, and Reigns got the win, which was good, because that's who we needed to win. We got the outcomes we wanted, not in the AJ Styles match, but apart from that, we got the outcomes we wanted. Just the way we got to there wasn't too great. I think the show started a lot better than it ended, in my opinion, and it didn't feel like I just watched the Royal Rumble. Like, I was so excited to see the Royal Rumble, because this shit happens once a year, and it feels like it almost never happens. It feels like we'll wait every 3 years for a match like this, and to fumble it that hard, I'm personally offended. WWE need to get their act together, because yes, they are in very good times of viewership and everything else, but there's certain things they're doing in the company where I can't help but agree with people on that's bad. And that was bad. That was bad. I'm going to say it. Like, I was kind of like, I'll sit on the fence about it. But that was bad. I mean, we had Powerhouse Hobbs, but there was no reaction, really. Even the commentators weren't excited for nothing. And he's not even called Powerhouse Hobbs. He's called fucking Royce Keys. Like, what? What? And there was no Chris Jericho, which just puts a downer on it. But where, again... It's too complacent to expect surprises. That's why they're surprises. We can't expect them. Yeah, left a bit of a sour taste in my mouth with how... well, it's not that it was bad either. Like, there was cool moments. It wasn't... the execution wasn't there. Things weren't planned properly. I don't know. the fact that we ran it back in the middle of the Rumble, like, that just explains everything about WWE today. Yeah. Thank you all so much for watching. That's my opinions on the Royal Rumble. Let me know what you think in the comments below, and I will see you in the next one. Goodbye.